little bit of an unordinary show today, but we've got it for you live from Phoenix. You hear the engine in the background, Craftsman Truck Series qualifying ahead of the championship tonight. Xfinity on Saturday, Cup on Sunday. Eddie Kalegi and Adam Tropper here with you in the desert. Beautiful weekend. We're so excited to be here to cover a championship weekend. Thanks to Matt Humphrey and the team for the opportunity. And of course, we'll have lots of coverage all weekend long. A show on Monday, lots of interviews going up on Tuesday. But this morning started, as you hear the truck with the State of the Sport address. Steve Phelps, Steve O'Donnell, some interesting points from both of them. Generally positive is my outlook on it. They said there's a lot of positive momentum in the sport, getting both young fans and going back to the basics to keep the old school fans happy. My one big concern was what they said about the TV ratings, which are down 14%, that they quote unquote expected it. That shouldn't be happening. It just shouldn't happen. And my big issue with it too is IndyCar able to negotiate this deal with Fox and get all these races on actual TV, on network television, and NASCAR can only get 3 of its 10 playoff races off of cable. So I'm upset about that. Interesting remarks from them about the playoffs, how it's hurting the Xfinity Series a little bit, but generally,
yeah, I would say it's as positive as it gets, and for an end-of-year kind of meeting where you're saying everything that's going on in the sport, they're going to be as positive as it gets. Really, the only negative or thing that you can turn to would be when they were talking about the antitrust lawsuit, and there was a predetermined statement that Steve Phelps read, and there's no need to go into that too much. But the key term to me was when Phelps said that this is not an antitrust lawsuit. Let's be real, it kind of is.
Yeah.
I'll digress on that. Overall, I will say it was a positive state of the sport, and although a 14% decrease in their TV ratings, that shouldn't be expected. It's a negative. But considering everything else that NASCAR has gone through, and they even said it was sponsorship, compared to where the sport was 3-4 years ago in terms of being able to attract external sponsors compared to where they are now, that is a major net boost and probably the biggest positive there is. So overall, I'd say good takeaways, but really it was just an honor to be there and listen to them.
Yes, really cool to hear from both of them. A few other elements, news and notes. We're not doing our full pit stop, but wanted to hit a couple of key things that I wanted to mention. Marco Andretti retiring from IndyCar. Remember, he made some NASCAR starts, trucks and ARCA the last couple of years. No more Andrettis on the grid. Pretty unbelievable. Kind of the end of an era. Very similar to what we've seen with the Petty family, especially since Michael Andretti isn't a race team anymore. You got Kalegi setting Justin Haley to drive for them in the Dodge Ram, but they're going to be off the grid in the Xfinity Series. Don't really know what the Xfinity Series is going to look like. And then you've got Carson Kvapil competing for a championship, but now is going to have full-time opportunities. Dale Jr. helping him find other rides outside of JRM to complete a full season next year like Roger Carew. So with all of that in mind, what are a couple of key takeaways you have from some of this news this week?
Honestly, there's so much news to take in. This is silly season at its silliest, especially with Ram and what Kalegi is doing in trucks. We expected them to shut down their Xfinity program, or at least downsize. Shut down, I don't think people expected, and it's going to be weird to see them without it in there. But if they're going to go 5 trucks in, it makes sense. They have Brendan Butterbean Queen, they have Daniel Dye, they have Justin Haley, and 2 more spots that need to be filled. But really speaking on Justin Haley, this is his redemption. This is his return to Kalegi. I talked about on the show last week the fact that I could see him dropping down, going the John Hunter Nemechek route, try to revitalize his career after a very rough year at Spire this past year, and then Rick Ware before that. So it's good to see him go back, maybe build up some confidence. But Kalegi, they're doing the right thing, switching Dodge, becoming that flagship team, and maybe, you never know, if Dodge wants to go to Cup in a few years, he'll be able to grow with them. In terms of everything else he just said, and I'll try to go rapid fire here. Marco Andretti, it's going to be weird, not going to lie, without an Andretti on the field. I think the Petties in NASCAR, obviously there's no more Petty driving in NASCAR. Richard Petty still has an affiliation with Legacy Motor Club as ambassador, but it's really just a name, and I think IndyCar fans are going to start to see that disconnect. And finally, Carson Kvapil. It's crazy how someone in the Championship 4 doesn't even have a full-time ride announced yet. It seems like he's going to have one, but I don't know what that says about the state of the Xfinity Series. At least him and Karuk both have runs.
So every series on track on this Friday. We got practice for Cup coming up, Xfinity as well. Trucks are qualifying right now. I got this feeling. Here's our picks. Our actual winner and lock will be with everybody else on the socials on Sunday. Then we'll figure out who our points champion is. But let me just run through this. Trucks, some funny stories. If Tyler Abram wins this championship, if Caden Honeycutt, who lost his ride, found another because Stuart Friesen got hurt, if he wins a championship, it'll be pretty unbelievable. But I just think Corey Haim's going to get this done. He's been the best all year. No reason to say that won't happen. Connor Zilic, though, has struggled a bit the last 3 races and finished 16th back here in the spring. With all the good news for Carson Kvapil, I think he's going to be the outlier champion this year. My big shock is that Carson Kvapil upsets both his teammates, Connor Zilic and Justin Allgaier, to win the Xfinity Championship. And then in Cup, I just got to ride the wave with Denny Hamlin. He's won the most races this year. He's going to do it. This is maybe his last big chance to win a championship. It's going to finally happen in year 19. So my champions, Haim, Kvapil, Hamlin, Tropper. How about you?
Pretty similar. I mean, it's hard to root against Corey Haim. 11 wins, already breaking the records. I think if he reached like 10 laps in this race, he breaks the lap sled record too, which goes back to 1996, I believe. So truly incredible season, and this will be his 3rd Championship 4 appearance in a row. I think he's finally going to be able to close it out. For Xfinity, I'm going to go a different venue, maybe even more traditional route. But I'm going to have to say Connor Zilic. Yes, he's had a rough last few weeks, but he had 18 consecutive top 5s, an all-time Xfinity Series record. I was tempted to go with Justin Allgaier, though. He's a master at Phoenix, defending champion. But Steve O'Donnell talked about it at the State of the Sport, that Xfinity Series with the playoffs, it kind of hurts the pipeline of superstars. I don't think that's going to happen this time. I think the next superstar in Zilic is going to win as he's favored to. And then for Cup, once again, to follow in your footsteps, Eddie, you really can't go against Denny Hamlin right now. He is as motivated as ever. It's been almost 2 decades, and I made this comparison to you earlier off air, Eddie. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. I'm not saying Denny Hamlin is Dale Earnhardt, but he is pretty close to the wins list. Point being is that I think he'll finally get the monkey off his back and go from the best to never win a championship to just being one of the best.
Well, we wanted to take advantage of the nice weather, get outside, and get you episode 203. Monday we'll be back to normal. We're going to have coverage all weekend long. Happy Halloween. Thanks for joining us here from Phoenix Raceway, Motorsports today. Great weekend ahead. Stay tuned for coverage as always. Eddie Kalegi, Adam Tropper. Enjoy the weekend and enjoy the racing.